Today is truly another historic event that happens in the city of Huntsville. This is historic not just for Huntsville, but for Alabama. And it's the second time we've been honored to be able to give this great news. The news is Standard & Poor's Rating Services assigned the city of Huntsville a rating of AAA, and Moody's Investor Services assigned a rating of AAA, each company reaffirming their prior ratings of the city. These ratings are the highest the city can achieve and are awarded to a minority of government entities across the nation. We are exclusive across the nation. The recession will likely result in more rating downgrades for local governments, and we had to be creative in our solutions to maintain these rankings. The significance of this is not just historic rankings. With these rankings comes an obligation to our taxpayers. Our commitment to them is that we will continue to be frugal in our spending, to cut our spending, and we will continue to be prudent with our finances. And we will continue to present a leaner and more effective government. We are incredibly proud to receive the AAA rankings while emerging from one of the worst economic downturns in our nation's history, but our work will continue. Now let me say something. This has been a total team effort. It has been a team effort of the City Council, who has been led on the Finance Committee by Bill Kling and Will Culver. It's been a cooperative effort with the rest of the City Council. Dr. Showers is here, Ms. Moon is here, Mark Russell is here, and it's been a total elected government effort. But it gets nowhere without the help, without the support, without the hard work of our department heads. And those department heads are the people that you see out there here today. I'd like for them to stand up so we can give them a round of applause. Please stand up. Rex Reynolds. Rex has had to hold the line on spending time and time again. People have called and said, we need to hire this person, we need to hire that person, we need to fill these slots, we need to spend this money. And Rex has been the gatekeeper to make sure that we as a city are as lean as we possibly can be. The next two are our financial team, Randy Taylor, who is our Chief Financial Officer, and Phil Dotz, who's our Chief Financial Advisor. Both of those have done yeoman's work to make sure that we could maintain this rating. And let me say, maintaining this rating in the midst of a $14 million deficit has been very, very difficult. And with this rating comes some responsibility. That responsibility is, number one, to get your ship in order. Getting your ship in order means that revenues have to equal expenses. And that's going to mean that this next year is going to be another tough financial year. And the year after will be another tough financial year. Thus far, ever since we've come into office, we've had on a hiring freeze. We've had department cuts last year of 5%. We cut outside agencies 2.5%. We haven't bought fleet for 2 years. Our insurance, we've asked for some studies to find best practices. On our vehicles, we've had many department heads and people in the upper realms of city government park their vehicles so that we can be frugal with that taxpayers' dollars. We've cut uniform allowances last year, and we even had to cut our smart grid for traffic engineering. Where's Dick? Dick, sorry about that. That was you. But we've done everything we could last year to come in as good as we could in a position of being fiscally sound and being fiscally prudent. We knew that we were going through a recession. We didn't know how deep the recession was going to be. We didn't know where the turnaround would come. We had an idea that it would be in June and July of this year. And in fact, in May and June, we started seeing some of our first increases year to date of sales tax, and that showed that we were starting to come back. This next year, we have about a $14 million hole to dig out of. And that $14 million hole means that we will be cutting capital projects. We will continue to do what we have done in the past with hiring freezes. We will continue to do what we've done in the past with fleet. Our insurance, we are going to take some steps to limit our insurance increases. And we're going to, again, have to look at outside agencies and at our own departments. We're looking at specific areas where we can combine and we can consolidate and we can save money. But this is one of the obligations that we have to the citizens of Huntsville. And as such, that obligation is that we have to make sure that our revenues match our expenditures and that we come in as a fiscally sound city. The end result of all this will be that we'll have leaner government. The city of Huntsville will be a leaner government at the end of this recessionary period than it was at the beginning. And that's not a bad thing. That means that we're going to be getting more for our tax dollar. We are going to be stretching to provide all the services next year that we are providing now, and we will be stretching very, very hard to do that. But there will be some places where services will have to be cut along with revenues being cut. But that's the news of the future. The news of the past is that, again, we are rated a AAA in our rating, and this is a historic thing for Alabama.
The city's rating affirmation recently by Standard & Poor's and Moody's is truly notable. Frankly, it was also a relief as well. It was a tough process, and we're glad to get that affirmation. I think it speaks volumes about the quality of the city as viewed by a third party from outside this area. The rating downgrades have been more frequent over the past 2 years with the economic conditions we face in this country. And very solid names like Chicago, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Atlanta, Illinois, the state of Illinois, Connecticut, although still high investment grade credits, have experienced downgrades. We haven't been immune to the recession, and the city's finances have clearly been affected. Affirmation sends a strong message about the financial management of the city and their confidence, the rating agency's confidence, that the city and its elected leadership, mayor, council, finance director, not elected, but still very involved in this process, as well as his team, make decisions that are proactive and consistent with sound financial management practices. I mean, they're confident we're going to do it, and I'm sure that we will. Just one brief statistic you might want to know about. There are 17, this is Moody's only, not S&P, but just Moody's, 17,205 total U.S. public finance ratings. That's not just cities, that's cities, counties, states, electric utilities, that kind of thing. Only 462 of those are rated AAA. We're in pretty good company.
And let me say, the linchpin of our financial system has always been Randy Taylor. Randy works numerous nights. You'll see him, you won't see him, but you'll get texts from him or emails from him working late in the evening. There are some Saturdays, some Sundays that all of a sudden you might find Randy Taylor here, because I run across him every once in a while. And he works tirelessly to make sure that this city has a sound financial policy. And I can't think of anyone who gets more kudos for this AAA rating than Randy Taylor. And Randy, would you like to say something?
I appreciate your confidence, but really all we do in finance is the people who work there. We propose policy. We tell you things that we think would be good ideas, but it is the mayor and the council working together with everybody else that delivers public services that makes it happen. So we're just in the advisory business and glad to be that way. But Huntsville is a great place to live. It's a great place for businesses to invest. And it's true for the city that's third generation now for me, and those of you that live here and in the region know how valuable it is, especially in the difficult times that have been experienced by a number of communities, most communities across the country. But there were regarded highly in so many different categories. Huntsville's recognized as #1 in this and top 5 in that, but there's not too many independent financial evaluations of the city. This would be the premier evaluation of how well the city's financial strength is thought about by the people that are in the business of assessing communities all over the country. They're experts in that business. So it means that the people who look at Huntsville and don't know anything about it and want to understand about it, they can look to the rating and decide if this is a place in which they would want to invest. So when the city borrows money, people invest in us by doing that. And AAA means that they can have high confidence that their investment will pay off. It also saves the taxpayers of Huntsville lots of money, millions of dollars in the money that we save in interest costs by borrowing. There's 3 particular categories that they look at that are important to note about the rating agencies and how they assess us. One is the overall strength of the community, and we have to give credit to the the business community, to the citizens who make investments of their own personal dollars and business dollars here in the community, because that contributes to a really strong tax base, a diverse employment base, all of the things that they look at that say this is a good place for business to be. And also generates revenue for the city, which we can use to provide public services to the citizens and to the business community. So number one is the strength of the community inherently. Number two is how well the city is managed. We could have a great community and we could be very strong inherently, but if we didn't manage the resources that the city collects well, then we would jeopardize the confidence that people would have in their loaning us money and our ability to repay. So we did get noted for, again, strong management, wise decisions. This AAA rating is particularly meaningful because it comes after we've weathered significant challenges, and we still have challenges ahead, as the mayor has said. But for us to be recognized as having made wise decisions and be strong in our financial management is very important, and the citizens and businesses should take note of the administration and the council for making that happen. Thirdly, we are not overextended. They look at the amount of money that people like Huntsville borrows, and many people see the large numbers associated with our debt, and they say that's too much money. But they consider us to have a lower than average debt burden on the citizens. That also speaks to management. We've not overextended, which would be easy for us to do. So it is important to note that we are managed wisely and with strength, and that we're not overextended, that we're doing things in a responsible manner and can meet our obligations in the future. So that's what all that means, and they've recognized it before, but it's been particularly significant to have achieved this respect again in 2010.
I'll pass my kudos along to every one of these men and women out here, the department heads, because I tell you, quite often they do come daily with problems, with requests, but Mayor, quite often they come with solutions too. The mayor reached out to each one of the some 26 departments, asked them where we could cut, and not only did we get back areas we could cut, we're going to, and the mayor said this early on, actually late in 2008, we're going to come out of this a leaner government, and I already see it happening. So I'll pass my kudos along to the men and women out there, so thank you.
Nothing happens here without council approval. And the budget that we present, this next budget, is going to be a tough budget for us all to swallow, because it's going to be a budget that has to equal revenues, have to equal expenditures. And when you have what we had last year, we have a tough time. But this council has always buckled down, has always been fiscally responsible, has always been the ones that have made sure that we as a city move forward. We have a great finance committee. We have 3 other great members of city council, and I say to them, thank you for their partnership, because they make that partnership, they make the city of Huntsville move forward. None of it happens without a vote of the council. We can do all the suggesting that we want to, we can do all the proposing we want to, but it takes the council to vote, and the council's vote is what actually makes us come forward with a AAA rating, with a budget that is balanced,